Welcome to my kinda special episode of Tesaks Devlogs, but it doesn't count as one, so fourth special episode is still coming. This is more like yearly special, I would say. And the main topic is what I think about game dev and how to get started with game dev yourself, after I have been 1 year full-time game developer, well, myself. Puzzle pieces were released on 14th of January 2021, and if everything goes as intended, this video will be published on YouTube on January 14, 2022. Hello everyone, I'm Tesak. It's not my real name, but everyone, even my friends, have been calling me like this for years. I am founder and CEO of Tesaks Entertainment, and with the help of this company, I released 2 full games called Puzzle Pieces and Walker of Aldenor for mobile and PC, some demo games on itch.io, and I am working on more, including tabletop games. And because this video is long, let me say that's at the beginning. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Doing so really helps me to show YouTube that I am doing somehow good job, and if you want, comment what was your proudest moment or achievement of year 2021. I am always happy to see some good stuff in the world, especially during the last few years. So, year 2021 was interesting one, but for me it was the year that I learned the most in my life, and I am not kidding. And so I thought that what does it really take to go full-time game dev if you are going to learn everything after you started? If you wanna know what I thought about this topic half a year ago, go and watch the first ever special devlog I uploaded on this channel. I will link it in the description of this video, and I'll make sure to show it on the screen somewhere right now. Hopefully YouTube haven't removed this feature by the time you are watching this video. So, just to give you a little bit of context to show you how I started this whole game dev journey, I've been always wanting to create games of some sort, so I always tried. I tried to make my first game, or my first PC game, in I believe summer 2006. I think using GameMaker and MS Paint. And of course I failed. Keep in mind that I was 11 years old by that time. So through the years I tried to make more games in various other editors, but nothing really worked out. Now, I will skip to the present. As I said, I finished and released 3 games myself. Well, one is just demo, but it counts, right? And I am working on more, so what changed? Well, let me start with technology, because that changed drastically. I am not going to say that the GameMaker was terrible in 2006, as even by that time there were tons of games created in GameMaker, but it definitely wasn't what Unity is today. If nothing else, the technology made it easier. Second, I learned how to program, which, is like the most essential stuff when it comes to game dev. At least I think that you can't really make games without programming. I mean, there are options, but is it really giving you the freedom you want? I don't know. Also, if you are not into programming and stuff, don't click away just yet. I'll be talking about other roles in potential teams, as well as other options later on. So, theoretically, these 2 things should be enough to allow you to create literally any game you want. But also something more fundamental changed, and that was my mentality. I wasn't ever someone who gave up easily, but eventually I used to give up on stuff. That changed. I learned how to accept and take on a challenge. Ironically, I really learned this by playing games. The stuff that everyone in my life kept telling me is not worth my time and that I'm wasting my time playing games. And I personally don't think I would ever really learn this just by doing stuff in real life, because by the nature of it, in real life everything matters. You naturally wanna do the stuff the best way you can the first time, and this sets everything up for you to fail over and over again. On the other hand, in game you don't really care that much, and so you can learn freely, experiment and take risks. So I learned that if instead of trying to achieve the best results the first time, I just attempt to do the stuff that I want to do, and then repeating the whole process with new knowledge if needed, I am always going to make at least some progress, learn something new each time doing it, and thus getting better. But more importantly, first you are not going to fail as often, and even if you are going to fail, it's not like the failure is so overwhelming that you don't know where to start to analyze stuff, why it changed, and which you should be doing every time, because failure that made you learn stuff and haven't learned anything important isn't really a failure, is it? And second, because if what you are doing works at least somehow, this gives you a huge motivational and confidential boost, which then gives you strength and power to continue and finish it or rework it rather than quit it altogether. And that's, at least for me, the mentality you really need while developing games. Whether your intentions are just to do it for fun or eventually make living by it, I think everyone should learn how to take on challenge and how to accept the challenge, how to fail, and most importantly, how to learn from the failure that happened, if it happened. And this should give you enough confidence and mental power to not quit ever again. Just don't misinterpret it. There are absolutely times when you really need to quit something, okay? And I think this translates really well into other aspects of everyday life as well, by the way. Now that we know what the essential thing is according to me, let me go back to programming. Because yes, it's true that you can make games without writing a single line of code. And hey, call me old-fashioned, but I really think that by writing the game yourself, you are giving yourself way more freedom than using, for example, visual programming stuff. But hey, I'm not trying to gatekeep. Feel free to use anything that works for you. After all, the best tool is the tool you got and you know how to use. On the other hand, you shouldn't be going way too hard on it. Especially in 2022, there is really no reason to create your first game in plain language, or to even create your own engine. First, this is going to take forever, and second, it will make you probably quit. If you never created any game before, or you don't know how to program, and you want to learn it while making your first game, my opinion is that you should go with Unity in combination with C# in Microsoft Visual Studio. Why? Because it's really easy, it's free, and there are tons of tutorials all over the web, including official free course on Unity website that's going to lead you through the whole process, providing you with full code that you can learn from. Yes, learning Python as... excuse me, I keep pronouncing Python like Python, please bear with me. Learning Python as your first language might be easier than C#, but I don't know about any game engine that supports it. And there is good reason for that. Python is rather slow. And yeah, I just probably poked the hornet's nest and made some Python and fanboys angry. Listen, don't get me wrong. Python is awesome for what it is intended and what it can do. Utilitarian use to create your own PC utilities, undoubtedly, it's really strong with neural networks and visual recognition. But there are reasons why all the big engines are using their own language variants, or C# or C++. And out of these, the C# is language that's the easiest to get into, in my opinion, and is supported by really huge communities with tons of resources to learn from, and the people are not as gatekeeping as in C++, for example. But hey, go back to the topic. So, sometimes people ask me, is it better to go 2D or 3D on my first game? Well, let's put it this way. In 2021, it really doesn't matter if you're making your first game in 2D or 3D. And I guess it's going to be the same thing in 2022 as well. And now all my friends are probably going, wait, what? Because I was always like, you should make your first game 2D, and 2D is easier. Well, I changed my mind. It doesn't matter that much. If you accept that there might be some clipping issues with 3D, well, this can happen with 2D as well, but it's rare. And in 3D, there is going to be way more camera work. Go with the game you can make your own assets for, and I mean it. As learning what it takes to create your own models, textures, and or sprites, at least for the first game, will be beneficial for you, as it will make you understand the whole process a little bit more. Besides that, there is one more skill you will really need while developing literally anything, I would say. And it's really essential, and that's the ability to Google stuff. You don't have to know everything, and to be honest, you will find out that you don't know majority of the stuff. So having ability to Google things as needed, and mainly knowing how to search for what you are looking for, is really crucial. Not only with programming, but with other aspects of game dev as well. And for that, it's going to help you in everyday life as well. Now, maybe you don't wanna make the whole game by yourself. This means you don't have to learn everything, although I still think it's going to be beneficial for you and the whole team if you learn at least something from each aspect of the game dev. But hey, in every team there are many roles. And in game developer teams, and this will vary from team to team to be honest, and it's really dependent on the size of the team, but it could be essentially split into three main groups, I would say. This being programmers, graphic designers, and sound wizards. And to be honest, I have no idea how music and sounds works, and thus it's just wizardry for me. And while writing this, I realized that the roles blend perfectly with the cliché RPG classes. Programmer is like warrior, he makes stuff work without showing much as he takes all the heavy scripting, so graphic designers, the ranged guys, can tackle the issue of visuals with great show to distance the user from the code with nice UI. And then some sound guy joins to add his magic to the mix in form of sounds and music, which creates the whole atmosphere. Or maybe I'm just talking nonsense. Anyway, these three groups fits perfectly into the small game dev team as they can cover every single part of the whole project, but with bigger teams you will get even more roles like marketing guys, quality assurance testers, team leaders, etc. But we are talking of a small game dev team of like 2 to 4 guys, and these guys are going to do all the work, don't get me wrong, but they will probably split it into these three groups. Unfortunately, I don't know much about this as I have been working just by myself majority of the time, and when I joined some team it didn't really work out that well usually. So I will leave this here, just as knowing that there definitely is the possibility to go this way. But I think that it's still beneficial for you to learn at least basics of every aspect of game development. And yeah, if you wanna fill just one role. If nothing else, you will find what role you want to fill in later on. Let me just quickly go through the quick checklist of things you will probably have to learn to get started besides programming, googling, drawing and other stuff I already mentioned. And these are knowing how to create concept, how to read it, plan from it and tweak it if needed. This might be easy or hard, rather depends on what you're gonna make it. I recommend making it easy to understand while making the goal as clear as possible. Definitely learn how to work in team if you are not going to be working alone, and how to work with all the team related tools, like for example Git or the resource sharing system and communication tools. And of course, learn how to communicate your thoughts and ideas clearly. This was going to help you really a lot. And since I already mentioned Git, you will need some version management system and learn with it. If you don't want to make it overcomplicated and you are just one guy, any form of backup works. But hey, if you are going to use Unity, why not use their built-in function for cloud saves? I mean, it's free and easy to use. Now, I'm sorry to say this, but I have to, because I know that for every serious game developer, there are 3 guys like this. Once again, I'm sorry if this is going to hurt your feelings, but somebody have to say it. Nobody needs passive visionary dreamers in their team, and nobody is going to pay you or accept you in their team if all you got is this line: I have really great ideas, or I have good concept for a game. Look, everyone have ideas and everyone have a good concept for a game. If you wanna make these dreams of yours go true, you will need to learn at least some of the skills to make the game so you can be a viable part of the team. Alternatively, you need to have huge pockets filled with money so you can hire people to do the stuff for you. Once again, I am sorry, just trying to help. Anyway, I said I will share my opinion on what I think about game dev and how to start in 2022. I spent the past, I don't even know how many minutes, talking about all the stuff that you need to start. So if you really wanna know my opinion, then start with just doing it. Download Unity or any other engine of your choice and just do it. Learn how to not quit. Learn how to look for great sources of information. Learn from the tutorials and just do it. I mean, taking online course can be beneficial, but for starting, just jump into it. Now for the rest of my opinion, I think that for the past few years, game dev have been a really great hobby that you can get into literally for free, and it will pay you in knowledge you can use to your advantage in everyday life. Because in today's world, knowing how to program stuff, having clear vision of your goals, or even just the ability to not quit, or to share your ideas and dreams clearly, is highly valued. If not by people in profession of your choice, then at least by your family and relatives and friends. On top of that, the feeling of creating something literally out of nothing is really great, and it makes you grow personally. Being game developer is not as rewarding as other hobbies you can get into, but if backed up and properly maintained, everything you're gonna make will last for the rest of your life, and even longer. So what you create can be here forever as long as the platform supports it. That's the only issue. On the other hand, going full-time game dev is really risky, and if you can, you should make it work and make some money for you first before you decide to leave your job. If you are still in school, definitely finish the school first. And if you are finally going into it, I mean full-time, think about some backup plan. This is really risky and unstable environment. I can only wish to have the ability to release my games and still be employed at the same time, but sadly I had to leave my job, even though I didn't really want it to. Doesn't mean I won't need to find a new job soon, but I am never going to stop developing games, nobody can stop me. But hey, I feel like this video is long enough, and mainly that I said everything I wanted. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that this was somehow interesting or even informational to you. I hope that I earned your like and sub with content like this. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you agree or not agree. What would you pick as the most important skills to start game developing in 2022 or 2021, it's up to you. And once again, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time. See ya!